From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Tisha Bader.
I'm Tisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, October the 7th, 2020. YouTube has removed the Nation of Islam's video channel from its platform. The organization led by known anti-Semite Louis Farrakhan. The Jewish Journal reported that YouTube said the channel violated its hate speech policies, releasing a statement that we have strict policies prohibiting hate speech on YouTube and terminate any channel that repeatedly or egregiously violates those policies. Jewish organizations welcomed the decision. B'nai B'rith International tweeted that it was long overdue, writing Farrakhan's anti-Semitic hate speech and conspiracy theories don't deserve any type of social media exposure. The American Jewish Committee noted the organization led by Farrakhan, who they wrote for far too long, has used the platform as a megaphone for his anti-Semitic and homophobic outbursts. ISGAP, the Institute for the Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Policy, wrote that in a time of increased fragmentation, extremism, racism, and xenophobia from the radical left and right, as well as in mainstream discourse, this decision by YouTube to stop the spread of hate and incitement is encouraging. In Greece, the neo-Nazi Golden Dawn Party was ruled as a criminal organization today, at the culmination of a 5-year-long trial of the group's founder and leader, Nikos Michaloliakos, and other senior members, finding them guilty of running a criminal organization. CEO of the American Jewish Committee, David Harris, lauded the long-awaited, he wrote, and welcome decision by the Greek court, with its leaders facing heavy sentences in what Harris called one of the most important trials in the country's political history. The Central Board of Jewish Communities in Greece said the landmark ruling of the Greek court that criminalizes this neo-Nazi entity shields the republic of our country. It reaffirms an important truth. Neo-Nazi organizations that weaponize patriotism are dangerous and spread hatred. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announced new restrictions in several communities in the state due to a significant uptick in coronavirus cases there. Many of those communities have large ultra-Orthodox populations. They include parts of Brooklyn and Queens in New York City and sections of Orange and Rockland counties. The restrictions impact businesses, schools, and houses of worship, with services in some parts of the state limited to 10 people. This ahead of the Jewish holidays of Shmini Atzeret and Simchat Torah. Orthodox Jewish umbrella organization Agudath Israel criticized the restrictions, which they called appalling to all people of religion and good faith. The governor said of the reinforced measures, this is about protecting people and saving lives. A Washington court has ruled that Iran must pay, according to the Associated Press, $1.45 billion to the family of Jewish former FBI agent Robert Levinson. Levinson was working as a private investigator and reportedly part-time consultant for the CIA when he went missing 13 years ago on the Kish Island in the Islamic Republic, and is believed to have died in Iranian custody. Holocaust survivor and award-winning author Ruth Kluger has died. The Vienna-born Kluger wrote about her experiences being deported to Theresienstadt and then Auschwitz in the book Still Alive, A Holocaust Girlhood Remembered, which Le Monde called an unforgettable example of humanity. Kluger died at her home in California. She was 88. An Israeli woman was named to a key United Nations committee yesterday. Sarah Weiss Maudi is a legal advisor for Israel's mission to the UN. She was appointed as vice chairwoman of the WEOG, the Western Europe and Others group of countries on the 6th Committee, which considers legal questions in the General Assembly. She is the first Israeli woman to serve in this position. Israel's ambassador to the UN, Gilad Erdan, welcomed the appointment, which he called an important achievement for Israel that will lead to the strengthening of our influence at the UN. And that has a connection, he wrote, to the peace agreements that we recently signed, referring there to the Abraham Accords, the normalization of ties between Israel and the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain. Tel Aviv University and Columbia signed an agreement this week to offer a 4-year joint degree in liberal arts for Israeli and international students. The Jerusalem Post reports that students will spend the first 2 years at the Israeli school and then 2 years at the New York City University. Though for now, because of the coronavirus pandemic, the studies will be held online. Vice President for International Affairs at Tel Aviv, Milet Shamir, said she was very excited about the program, which she noted is the first of its kind in Israel and a groundbreaking collaboration between an Israeli university and an elite American university. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, October the 7th. At 7 o'clock, conversations from the 2015 APAC National Policy Conference, including with entrepreneur Jonathan Medved. At 8, Robert Siegel discusses how America can emerge from the current economic crisis with Stanley Fischer, Abby Joseph Cohen, Jonathan Gray, and Michael Drescher on Global Connections, Navigating the New Abnormal, a production of the American Friends of Rabin Medical Center. At 9 tonight, Mark Golub sits down with Jewish activist Howard Teach on L'chaim. At 10, it's the 2019 Brooklyn Jewish Hall of Fame ceremony. And coming up next, it's Thinking Out Loud. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, October the 7th, 2020. I'm Tisha Bader. Stay healthy. Stay well.